Hello and welcome to the Mariana Dalto Show, the podcast where small business owners share their stories, insights, and strategies for success. Today's guest is someone whose work brilliantly bridges the gap between brain science and business strategy. Dr. Thomas Trachman is an entrepreneur, author, coach, and global speaker who is on a mission to make business owners unforgettable. With a PhD in artificial intelligence and a background in engineering, Thomas has held leadership roles at companies like IBM, HP, and AOL before founding Happy Brains, a company dedicated to ethical persuasion and human-centered marketing. He is the creator of the Make Me Great system, a powerful framework that blends neuromarketing, cognitive science, and emotional intelligence to help leaders remove subconscious roadblocks and communicate in a way that truly connects. Welcome, Thomas, to the show. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you for having invited me, Maya, and I appreciate it. And I should have you do my introduction each time. It's great.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, I think you're amazing, and you have such an amazing background. So I'm very excited about this interview and all the content that we're gonna be talking today. So thank you for your time.
Welcome.
So let's start first with your journey. You started from computer science and AI to neuromarketing and ethical persuasion. What really inspired you this path?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, Back in my mind, I think my dad was a CEO. He became a CEO. He was a self-made man, became a CEO of an American company based based in Europe. And I think that somehow triggered something. I want to be like that one day. I want to be the boss, you know? You take the routes you want to get there. My idea was always to lay bricks as a strong basis and then to grow with it. But you have to start somewhere. So I belong to that second wave of computer freaks, you know. The first one was made of the Jobs, the Wozniaks, and so on. And we followed right after them. So my first computer was an Apple IIe that
Very
I
good.
dismantled. I made it a portable device because I had big Max bags when I traveled and I had I
Yeah,
don't have
yeah.
that with me.
I used to have
Um,
those.
yeah, no, you are much younger than I am. Come on.
Oh, no, I don't know. I used to have a big old bag from my dad, actually. So,
Okay, it was your dad's. All right. So yeah, I started studying computer science because it was cool, it was fun. I mean, it's very nice studies in France. You become a diploma engineer, which puts you on a very high level of studies. Um, and when I got my first job, there were some guys who were doing also something aside. They kept studying. They were studying business stuff like that, and they didn't want to study business. But there was something about AI. So I said, "Ooh, AI sounds great." So I went for I think equivalent with your Masters of Science, and that Masters of Science opened the door to write a PhD thesis. So I worked on AI. Well, at that time, we didn't call it AI because AI was made of expert systems, and we, the guys from artificial neural networks, thought it was not at our level. So we were way
mm,
above that, you know. That's an ego thing when you're in research. So we were not AI. But now, funny enough, artificial neural networks are what powers GPT and all the AI
y-
stuff. So
yeah.
we are AI. So yes, but I never did research for the sake of research. I did it for to see what research is about, did it in the frame of a real life project, not just
hmm
research to do research, and want to go back into the business side of things. That's when I joined HP, and HP being no have was at that time a great company to work for, and you could switch easily. And one manager said, "Okay, you can come work into marketing, even though you are a computer guy." So it took me some time to get it, but I learned marketing and then I learned forecasting and then I learned how you communicate. Because when you're an engineer, you don't say anything and you just do your little thing. But when you're in
Oh, yeah.
marketing, when
That's a big
someone asks
shift.
you, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, I had to change all my jokes. I had a lot of jokes about
Oh, of
marketing, you
course you
know,
did.
and then of course they didn't work anymore. So no, and I learned that in fact the way people communicate, and that helped me keep building bricks and moving from companies to other companies. got me to the stage where I said, okay, now is the time to start my very first company. And with the person who became my wife, we created that first company, which was about high-end motorcycle tours. It was very cool, very, very busy, but very cool. And so we learned create a company. And that's how I put the finger in that shit and never got out of it. And while we were trying to improve our marketing, because that's, I mean, like many people, I like the story. I was sitting at my desk, I was looking at my bank statement. No more money was coming in, no more clients were coming in, even though we had paid money to have a nice website, all that stuff. And I knew that something had to change. And it didn't happen overnight, of course. We saw some documentary about neuromarketing, which is the application of brain science to marketing and sales. Of course, it was in France, so of course it was bad, because in France, when you put brain and marketing in the same sentence, you should be burned on the public place or
Nice.
get your head guillotined. But it was very interesting anyway. So it started some thinking and we changed something and we grew our results by 400%. We got selected. We didn't ask them. They came to us. BMW Motorcycle France came to us to organize the motorcycle tours of their clients. So yeah, something changed and paid more attention to that, went into neuromarketing, definitely. Spent 6 years into neuromarketing, being a business partner of the first neuromarketing agency, so learning more.
Mm,
Um, and at one stage, it appeared to me that neuromarketing is extremely powerful. Don't get me wrong, you get two-digit growth easily when you do it properly, of course, but it was lacking humanity. You know, neuromarketing is all about the
right.
company's marketing, the company's sales, but people don't learn something for themselves, and that was annoying me. So that's why I created the ethical persuader system, which is one step after neuromarketing, where in fact you first learn for yourself how you get from people the decisions you want,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can implement it into your marketing, your sales, your management, your leadership, your personal life, everywhere else. So that's how things happened.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a big journey. I love it. An interesting path, like switching from one place to the other. So you've
Yeah,
done amazing going from computer science to marketing, like big shift. But
that was a big shift. That was a
yeah,
big shift.
very big
I,
shift.
I still
So what
remember the
is, oh,
conversation with my manager in the
yeah,
taxi saying me, Thomas, now you change something, or I will have to fire you because it's not working. Because it took me 6 months to shift the
right.
thinking
No,
process of running
absolutely.
projects to working with sales and marketing people.
Very different. Yeah, yeah. So tell us a little bit about Happy Brains. Why did you create it? And, tell us more about it.
So Happy Brains is it's called Happy Brains because I do things my why, if you want, is I want people to when you smile, in fact, when you smile like I do with the little wrinkles here, they even have a name. I can't remember which the name is, but you get a shoot of endorphin in your brain.
Mm,
Even if you do it consciously, your primal brain, the other part of the brain, gets that shoot of endorphin, so you feel good. And if I do it, I can see you are smiling too. And even if you don't smile, there is the theory of the mirror neurons that even if you don't smile, the neurons that would make you smile are lighten up. So you still get that shoot of endorphin.
oh, that's really
So
nice. So you basically we need to be exposed to people who are smiling all the time.
exactly. So I'm a drug dealer, if you want. I
Okay, sounds
sell
good.
smile. I sell endorphins. No, but I think that if more of us smile, the more and more people are going to smile, and our children may have a world where people are happy and smile. And it all
Hmm.
starts with the brain, with understanding how the brain works. Because I mean, we went to the deepest part of the oceans. We went to the highest part of the on the earth. We adapted the world around us so that the human species became that dominating species on Earth. We
Hmm.
even think about going to Mars. We went to the moon and so on, and we still don't know what's going on in between our two ears. 90% of today's knowledge on the brain is less than 15 years old. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
And we're still discovering every day new things about the human brain. And
Yes,
it's
yes.
a given. It's there. It's given. We still don't know how it's running. But the few things that we know, if we use them properly, that will help us and make us happy. So that's where how Happy Brains was born. And it's all about the brain. So you have the Make Me Great system, which is
Mm-hmm.
really about helping you, helping others, because every brain in front of you is crying, make me great. Even your own brain, excuse me, even your own brain is crying that, but you have to focus on the other. And give me one sec. Yes. So Happy Brains has the ethical persuader. It Make Me Great is expanding that model. Everything helps you, in fact, to become unforgettable. Happy
Mm-hmm.
Brains also has some stuff about decision making, how you make your own decisions. I also have developed something on male and female brain relationships called neurocouple. Because I mean, as I always say, if there are still uh, couple therapies and divorce lawyers, we still haven't sorted out the problem. And when you go, because as I always say, I'm a very basic guy, you know, I'm not complex. I'm German, I'm an ex-computer guy, so I'm very simply wired up there. So give me simple things. So instead of going to psychology, just compare how the male and female brains are working, why they are different, what the differences are. And as I always say, we are not equal, we are complementary. That's how the human species evolved.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also something that you can find in Happy Brains.
So what make me great? What is it, that system that you have? How does that make me, what is it make me great system? How does this help small business owners becoming unforgettable? How does that play a role?
Because it helps you stick in the brains of your clients.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do it the right way, Make Me Great is based on 5 steps. The first step, it starts with you because you need to make your own brain great. It starts with you. It's understand who are you, what makes you unique. And I think your listeners could try to think what makes you unique. It's not your first name. Mariana was given to you by your parents, right? So
That's right.
there are many on Earth. Your family name Dalto, that's an inheritance from your family. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
define who you are. You could
Mm-hmm.
say, I'm a podcast owner. Well, I'm a podcast owner too. So it doesn't make you unique. So what makes you unique? No, we are 8 billion people on Earth. We're 8 billion unique people. What makes you unique? That's the first step. Understand that. Then the second step is why are you doing what you're doing? I gave you my why. My why is to make the world smile. You know, have
Right.
people happy because they've learned something and they get what they want and become unforgettable. The third step is to create a tribe. You know, to become unforgettable, you have to have people. You need to have people who think about you, who want more from you, who want you to meet other people. That's how the process works. The fourth step is to understand how you drive decisions ethically, which
Mm-hmm.
is getting from the people the decision you want while you help them make the decisions they need. And that's because we know what triggers a decision in the human brain, and it's based on what's called a subconscious frustration. So if you help that brain to remove one or more subconscious frustrations, you are getting ethical. It's no more manipulation, influence, even persuasion. It's ethical persuasion. And the
Is it
fifth step,
related with emotions? How they are
our
feeling, and that's
emotions
how,
are in the process. There
right.
is no decision without an emotion, without an emotional variation.
Mm-hmm.
People get it wrong. People think you need to have one emotion to have a decision. When in fact, no, you have to take the brain from one emotional state to the next emotional state. And just so that people know, we have
And good
different.
emotions, probably. If you want, if
No,
you
you
want to,
can.
yeah.
No, you just need to create that emotional variation. Then you
Okay.
have to do. There are a lot of things that you have to do, and you have only a few seconds to do that.
Right.
So you have to understand how the brain makes the decisions. So that's what ethical persuasion is about, what the system is about. And the fifth step is about communicating. Once you have all that, you still need to talk to a human being, to a human brain in front of you. And that's the whole communication process, the whole all the techniques that you have to use to get in communication with the brain. So that's what Make Me Great is about.
That's great. And so I think you said like 90%, 97% of people believe decisions are rational,
Yeah,
but they're not, right?
no,
So
no,
what's
it has been
really driving our
scientific proven.
decision making then?
Subconscious frustrations.
The frustration. Okay.
We have many subconscious frustrations. We are human beings.
Mm-hmm.
So very often I've got people who say that, no, Thomas, I'm in the B2B world, I'm selling to businesses. A business is a sheet of paper with a name, a registration number, and an address. A sheet of paper has never made a decision. Well, not in my world
No, it's
anyway.
the human
But
who's making the decision, the person.
it's the humans behind it. So
Right.
every decision in a company is made by a human or a group of humans. Every human makes the decisions based on something happening in the primal brain, not the rational brain.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, we are Homo sapiens sapiens. We are the ultimate evolution of human beings. And by the way, there will not be any other evolution of the human species. We are the last part of the process, based on how long it takes to one part to evolve and how quickly we are getting closer to the sun and Earth is going to die. So that was the very positive note for this talk. Um, so yeah, we now scientifically know it has been proven. There is even a guy who got a Nobel Prize for his work on that. We make primal decisions that we rationalize afterwards.
Mm.
So if you recently bought a dress or a smartwatch or a car, remember what's going on out there. You have that little voice that says, no, it was a very good decision because now I have my heart rate, I can see how many steps I walk and la 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 la. That's your brain rationalizing the decision that has been made at the primal level because of a subconscious frustration. So
Mm.
it will not be about the business. It will not be about maybe the money. It will be all about ego, relationships, time, success, reputation, stuff like that.
Yeah. So then how can business owners ethically remove that subconscious frustration? How that
They
they can
have to,
remove that?
but first of all, they have to identify it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's subconscious, it means that the person in front of you is not going to tell you because they don't know what's going on in the subconscious brain.
Mm.
Once you know it, then you have to have stuff that helps remove that subconscious frustration. If my subconscious frustration is, for example, yeah, but as I said, proving to my dad that I am as good as he is, and everything you sell me is about me looking physically great, you are not removing the subconscious frustration. But if you have something that's going to make me maybe grow my reputation or make more money than my dad, then I'm going to have that subconscious frustration removed, for example.
Mm. Interesting. Okay. I mean, is it easy to figure that out, or there's a process, a coaching process to go through that to understand your frustrations? So how does that work?
That's going through training with me.
Ah, very
The,
good.
the
Okay, here we go.
identification we spend when in the training in the workshops we dive into subconscious frustrations. That's at least a couple hours work. It's a big part of a 1 day workshop because you have to
So,
know them. If you don't know them, you don't have
right, that's
the
the thing. You got to
fundamental
identify them
elements.
first.
Yes, you have to find that thing first. The advantage is that if people, for example, say, yeah, but in the business environment, Thomas, I have 3 or 4 decision makers in front of me. So, based on experience, very often they may have different subconscious frustrations, but
Mm-hmm.
very often they overlap. So,
Mm.
when you have that, you use the one that's common to everyone, and you may get 1 or 2 of the 3 decision makers, for example, on board, but you see that the third one is not getting there. But you know her or his subconscious frustrations. So then you have enough tools in your box to get that person on board too. That's the power of the thing.
So, can you give us an example, maybe how a business owner apply your system and saw real change?
Yeah, recently I had a client, a sales guy. I was coaching the whole team, sales and marketing, for a small company, and he it's very difficult to implement ethical persuasion in the Make Me Great system because it's a 180 degrees shift of what you've
Mm-hmm.
learned. So
Mm.
it's not your fault. That's how people teach you
Yeah.
to sell, to do marketing, and so on. So it takes the courage to do that. And the brain hates change, by the way.
Oh
So,
yeah.
going to something that's a 180-degree shift plus changing things, oh, that's a lot. Anyway, it took that guy, he was one of the most responsive to the system. And it took that guy a few weeks to really try the more evolved strategies, if you want, or tools, but that are more difficult for a salesperson, which is you don't talk about your products, about your services, about your company, about your brand, about yourself. Imagine saying that to a sales guy or marketing guy. They go crazy. They say, "What am I
Yeah.
going to talk about?" You
Right.
know?
Isn't
Yeah.
that my
And so he
job?
focused on he focused on the subconscious frustrations. He went to that meeting with those potential new clients and he told me, Thomas, I did exactly as you said. I listened. I just asked questions. The questions
Mm.
in the format you taught me to ask. And then I was just sitting there and I didn't do a thing. And at the end, they said, we are going to work with you because you care. And
Okay.
he didn't do anything. He said, it's amazing. It's working. But that's just one example.
And then let's say if we want to give some a little bit more guidance and more insights to the listeners, what are the
Yes.
three steps that they can take maybe this week to become more unforgettable to their audience? What are things that they can do differently?
I will give you two
Okay, okay, that's good.
based on communication. The
Okay,
first
yeah, this
one
is good. Hmm.
is what I call silent listening. You know, everyone tells you when you are with a client, when you are with your spouse or with anyone, you should listen. Of course, you should listen. But most people listen and at the same time, they think about what they are going to say next.
Hmm.
I mean, if you agree because you do it too. Everyone does it, you know. Someone talks about their weekend, and then you say, "Oh, I have to tell them about the barbecue we did, and I'm going to tell you about my little one who went for the first time on the bicycle." And during that time, the other person talks, but you are gone. You are somewhere else. So silent listening is try to do it. It's super complex. Is get the brain to shut up and to
Mm.
really listen really, 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 really listen to what's
That
going
is
on
so
in front
hard,
of
though.
you.
That is so hard.
That is
Yes.
one of the most complex
Oh my
things.
gosh. Yeah.
And the second thing that will make you get closer to become unforgettable is to use something called the you language. Everything you write, emails you write, phone calls you give, conversations you have, especially at the beginning of the relationship, when you want them to become part of your tribe, has to be in the you language. Don't write an email. Hi, Mariana. Thomas here. I wanted to drop you a little email because I want to know how you're doing. I also would like to send you this brochure. Da, da, da. So it's all about me, me, me. So I'm
Mm.
trying to make me great when I want to make you great.
Yeah.
So the email should, hi Mariana, how are you doing? You need this and that. You are here getting a new brochure. You can see that you may learn something from it, and you can get more by just dropping and replying to this email. I just
Hmm.
wrote exactly the same thing, except I wrote it in the you language.
Yes, the you language. Yeah, this is important too. I agree with that. Well,
And
thank you.
it's
This is
tough. I
great.
can tell you it's tough. I
I
hope it
know. I
helps.
mean, hey, we are all trying to evolve and be better at communicating, and it's still like a lot of work to get done in order to be better and better. So I think people totally need to take your training because this is gonna be a big shift and change for everyone,
Yeah.
for sure. Not even just for business, to be honest, even just to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
regular
It's for everything.
communication.
Yeah. I mean, we are driving decisions every day.
Exactly.
Your brain makes 35 decisions per day.
Yeah.
35,000. You are aware of 70 of them. 0.2%.
Oh my gosh, it's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when imagine asking someone else to make a decision that you want. It means
Mm-hmm.
that you add one decision in that long process of decisions. Why would the
Yeah.
brain stop? The first decision the brain has to make is stop what it's doing to make a decision for you. Imagine how important it is for that brain and how much you have to respect that brain and why you have to make that brain great. And when you make that brain great, because no one else does it, you start to become unforgettable.
I think we need a 3 hour podcast show on this topic because it's like the brain is so complex. There's so much to learn, and it's just still even work again, as you mentioned in the beginning of the show, we're still learning, and new things are coming out, and how to best leverage it, right? So, well, this has been amazing, Thomas. I really appreciate all the insights. I'm really like I want people to really get the book because that's something that can really help them understand a little bit more about the brain, about how you help, and how this can help not just your business, but how to really communicate in life, right? So,
Yeah,
anything else that you want to share to the audience before we get going?
just stay happy, smile.
I love it. This is a good end. That's good. All right. So I will leave the in the show notes. I will put the details about the book. If you're interested to talk to Thomas, then the website will be also in the show notes, so you can find a place where you can connect with him. And anything else, Thomas, that you want to share?
No,
No?
or we go back for the next 2 hours and we keep going.
Yes, of course. There's a lot to
Everything
talk. So
happens.
maybe we'll
Oh,
do session number 2 on how to be great. Make me great. Well, thank you, Thomas, so much for your insights. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
you're welcome. It was a real pleasure. Thank you, Mariana.
Thank you. And thank you for the listeners to listen to the episode. If you really liked it and you want to um, um, share with your friends, family members, whoever could maybe benefit from this episode, please share. And then if you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. Thomas would love to hear from you. So we're open here to listen to your comments and any questions that you may have. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you.
All right. See you next time.